years before he finally settled in on his contract. I don't think he's remotely close to being the highest paid coach in the league anyways, but
Yeah.
now we're watching him spend, I don't know, on two guys over $100 million in Nick Ehlers and, of course, Keandre Miller.
Well, and they gave another $50 million to Stanko. So they committed.
Wow.
Yeah, they committed all that money over the next, 6, 7, and 8 years. So long-term plans, and the idea is that, to be competitive in this league, those are going to be value contracts over time.
I wonder in that dressing room where some guys have been told that you needed to take less. And I put Slavin right there. Like, Slavin had a very good reputation for being this up-and-coming great defenseman in the league. I don't know, at the point where he was negotiating his long-term 8-year deal, a year and a half ago, that anybody would say, well, this guy's going to win a Norris one day, but he blossomed in the Four Nations.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's locked in at a contract that today would have been worth 10 or 11 million bucks.
And I think that's what Carolina wants to do. They want to see these guys and pay them before the breakout happens, before you have to go, oh, now he's a 10 or 11 million dollar guy. So that's what good GMs do.
I know it
you
is.
Get value.
I get it. Yeah. I just think that, for a guy like Keandre Miller now to become the highest paid defenseman on the team, I hope he can act like the best defenseman on the team.
Yeah. They're paying him to be the 40th best D in the league, by contract price or whatever it is. But yeah, certainly you have expectations when you sign a $60 million contract. It's not nothing.
A lot of fabulous work to lose to the Florida Panthers in 5 games in the conference final.
Well, and that's part of this too. Is, I think they're better than they were.
Sure.
They're trying to get closer.
But if I'm going to get through the Panthers, I'm not going to be like, I'm signing Ehlers and Keandre Miller. That's not the guys I'm going.
Who would you have signed as UFAs?
Well, no, I wouldn't know. I know what you mean.
To get better.
But those aren't the type of players that I guess no one has success.
Where does Nick Ehlers fall in now? Because he's paid like a top winger right now, right? And
where do you think 8.5 puts him in the league?
Was
good question.
He was not one of their top players in Winnipeg. He fit in on the depth chart. Where was he on the depth chart in Winnipeg? 5, 6, or 7?
Yeah, I don't know in terms of usage. Yeah.
All right. We'll pick up this conversation. In the meantime, let's welcome in Ken Holland, General Manager, Vice President of the LA Kings. Ken, thanks for joining us, man. I imagine, the last couple of days, pretty interesting for you and your new hockey club.
Yeah, it really was probably a couple of weeks in advance leading up to July 1st, doing all the preparation and meeting with the people and going through our cap and what things we wanted to accomplish. Lots of talks with other general managers about trades. Ultimately did something with Steve Staios in Ottawa. And, we're pleased with where we're at and looking forward to getting to training camp. I'll work the phones a little bit over the summer to see if somebody slips through the cracks, but we feel good where we're at.
I want to get into a few names for sure, and the decisions to add depth to your blue line. But just first of all, Ken, just take us back a little bit and where you were when you left Edmonton and the thought of, what's next for Ken Holland. I got to tell you, buddy, if I had your Stanley Cups and your success under my belt, and most importantly, your money, Ken, if I really had your money, I wouldn't have touched another job like this with a 10-foot pole. So why another crack at running a hockey club now?
When we got into February and March, actually my wife asked me how I was thinking, Cindy, and I said that I kind of had the itch, and if the phone rang with the right opportunity, I'd be interested. LA was a perfect fit for a whole lot of reasons, personally, professionally. Professionally, I had a relationship with Luc lots of really good players here. Rob Blake and his people have done a real good job in rebuilding the team. Personally, it's out west, and we're Western people. And when I'm on a road trip, it'll be easy for my wife to jump on a plane and fly to Calgary to see our daughters and grandchildren, or go to our place in British Columbia. And we expect to have lots of company down here. So, I wanted to make sure that the move was good, not only for me, but for my wife. And so I'm excited to have this opportunity and see if I can make a little bit of a difference here.
Ken, I'm a Western guy myself. It's been fun following your career. I remember you used to be around the rink when I was at the Vernon Vipers back in the day, and seeing all the success you've had. So, with you staying out west, how quick is this or how easy is the transition from Edmonton to LA been? You probably knew the Kings roster and players as well as you did any other team in the league.
Yeah, obviously we have played the 3 series against them the three previous years. So, you know what? I watched a ton of hockey this year, and I watched, I'd say 6 to 8 teams closer than the others. LA was one of them, because of Warren Fogle and former Oiler, and it's out west, and I could kind of finish my night scouting with a game from the West Coast. So between our series and then watching them a lot this year, I had a real good feel for the team. They had a tremendous year. Obviously, they just haven't been able to get by Edmonton. But out of the 4 series they played, 3 have been real close. And so, we made some moves here over the last few days that we hope make us a little bit bigger, deeper, and better. And it's going to be hard to make the playoffs. A lot of teams in the West got better, so it's going to be a real grind to try to get into the playoffs. But we feel good about where we're at right now.
You're watching and listening to Ken Holland, General Manager, Vice President of the LA Kings. Okay, let's talk about some of those additions, including Joel Armia, Corey Perry, and the one that many people are kind of wondering is the decision to go with Cody Ceci and Brian Dumoulin and not re-sign Gavikov. So essentially you're adding 2 players for the price of 1. So tell us the reason behind that.
Well, Gavrikov was a very important player on the team. We tried to re-sign him before I got here. Rob Blake had tried to made an offer and tried to re-sign him. I went beyond Rob Blake's offer. I guess ultimately didn't really get any counter offers, so I really wasn't sure if he wanted to be here or didn't want to be here. And then the last couple of days it heated up. Ultimately, he made a decision to go to the New York Rangers. He was really important in the top 4 last year, but especially important in the penalty kill. Cody Ceci kills penalties. Dumoulin kills penalties. The team was good in the penalty kill last year, so we had to make sure that we continue to be good in the penalty kill. So brought in a couple of defensemen that have penalty killed in other situations. So that was on defense, and up front, the team